Welcome back to Ketchup with Domtomato. This season, we've got episodes focusing on long-term injury, coming back from it, and the mental and emotional changes you deal with from going through it. This week's guest is Hazal Nehir. She is one of the most prominent female athletes in parkour. She was also the first woman to be sponsored by Redbull for the sport. She's originally from Turkey, but now she lives in England and trains and makes videos with Stora. Let's get into today's show. One take wonder, bitch. Whoa! Boom! Personality turns on right now. Okay. It's so good to have you here today. I mean, watching you get back from a crazy injury and be back now, like doing push-ups and doing movement and jumping, it's just awesome to see. I'm really excited to have you here and talk about it today. How you doing with it all?
Thanks for having me. I'm doing all right, actually. I'm recovering, and I'm just back in Turkey. I was in Austria and for the Rebull Athlete Performance Center, and we
Oh,
had like
cool.
a really nice, like recovery and like catching up with the doctors and stuff. So it was nice.
Mm-hmm. That is definitely one of the nice things that comes along with the sponsorship from Red Bull is they're really, really supportive in those injury states about getting you back into peak form, and they really seem to aid that process as much as possible with things like the performance center.
Yeah, totally. It's like it's the crazy place that like every athlete like should go because like they have like crazy opportunities and stuff. Like they have like physiotherapists, doctors, strength coaches. So like they have everything. So I think it's
Mm-hmm.
quite a good opportunity for the athletes.
Yeah, it's something. I've been to the Austrian one, but even going to the one in LA and seeing the facilities there and the amount of care and amount of focus they have and the daily routine they have for their athletes, it was really impressive.
Hmm.
I
So
mean,
you,
you've are you going?
so you have been in the APC before
Only in LA.
in
Yeah, I
LA?
haven't
Yeah.
been to the one in Austria, which is apparently
Okay.
much more deluxe. That's the one you went to, yeah?
Actually, what I heard that LA apparently has a little bit like new facilities. So they built it new,
Yes.
I think last year. So it
Yeah,
seems like
yeah. It was
it's
brand
a great
spanking.
place. Yeah.
Hmm.
Oh, class.
Huge workspace. Like they have a huge open floor and then like surrounding equipment, and then they have a second level for physiotherapy rooms, offices, and like recovery chairs and testing machines and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice one.
Um, what? So let's go into what happened and what your, I guess, big injury was that's taken you from the sport for a while now. What happened for the audience that doesn't know?
Yeah, so we were shooting for Capstone, and I
Mhm.
was doing a descent, and I missed my foot, and I literally like started falling like head first, and I landed on my
Mhm.
arm, and I dislocated my elbow.
On
So
concrete as well, all on concrete.
yeah, yeah, and I think it was
Mm.
like 2.5, 3 meters. So and yeah, I dislocated my elbow, and then I went to we were in Prague that time, and I went to
Yeah.
hospital, and doctors tried to relocate my elbow, but they
Oh.
couldn't. They couldn't
Mm.
relocate, and
Yeah, I remember that was horrible.
yeah, and they gave me gas, and they tried it again, but it didn't work out. And
Hmm.
when I like after I woke up, the doctor told me that they need to bring me into surgery because they couldn't relocate my elbow, and they told me like there was some like soft tissue like sticking, and they couldn't like relocate, so they needed to clean it.
Something in the way.
And
Yeah.
yeah, so and then I get surgery, but the thing is with this, like I didn't know what kind of surgery I'm going to get. I was thinking in my mind, okay, they are going to just relocate it and they are going to put me in a cast. But it wasn't like that. When I came out
It
from the
was not
surgery,
that.
Yeah, I've seen like a really big metal structure on my arm, and it was like full of blood, and I was like,
Oh,
wow, what is going on
it's
with
something out of
this?
Saw, the movie Saw, you know, like that horror film with all like the like things being built into
Yeah,
bodies and stuff. It's like that, like just like
yeah,
a
yeah,
parkour scaffolding set up on your elbow, but full of
literally.
blood and fear. Oh, yeah, that's a
And
crazy premise to go into the surgery not knowing that that's going to be what happens when you when you wake up. That's what you're going to see.
yeah, yeah, totally. And but like I heard I've seen people having these like they call like external fixator, like external
Hmm.
fixators and stuff. I've seen it before, but it is apparently so rare to see it on the upper body. Apparently people
Yeah.
like use it if the injury is really complex. If you like
Okay.
break, if you dislocate, if you like have some nerve damage. So but with my injury I had only like dislocated elbow, nothing broken,
So
just a
even that
dislocation.
muscle underneath wasn't like permanently damaged, or there wasn't any tendons in the way. It
I
was
put
simply just a bad dislocation.
I mean, obviously, like when you dislocate, you tore some ligaments as well, but mine wasn't
Hmm.
fully also torn, so it wasn't really complex. But like
Yeah.
when I came out from surgery, so I had the external fixators, and so I was pretty shocked, and I was also pretty like disappointed, and like I didn't because I didn't know what to do, and then I stayed in the hospital like 5 days in Prague, and then I flew to
Yeah,
Turkey.
a long time.
Yeah, and when I get back Turkey, Redbull Turkey organized me a really like good doctor that they worked with him before, and
Hmm.
I've seen him, and then he was like a specialist with like arm, and he told me that
Okay.
that like scaffolding is a really old school, like nobody really uses
Uh,
scaffolding anymore,
I
and
mean, like if you look at the city of Prague, it's very old school, and the people there are quite, you know,
yeah,
it's an elderly community, so it's probably just the yeah, different
yeah.
era of medicine. That's wild to think that they did that.
Yeah, and apparently, like he told me that elbow joint is like some sort of like special, and because it can freeze so easily. So if you put your elbow in a cast like 2 weeks, it can just like can stay like that
Lock.
forever. Yeah, lock
Wow.
literally.
That's
Yeah,
not
and
a
then
great great thought to
no,
have, just a stuck bent arm.
yeah, and then so he told me that we need to get external fixator as quick as possible, and so just in a couple days I get another surgery. He get rid of the fixators and he reattached my ligaments. The
Wow.
surgery was good. Yeah, it was a nice surgery.
Successful.
And then I kept seeing him like once in every week, and then like every time when I was there, like he was trying to move my elbow slowly. But the thing is,
Hmm. Hmm.
with the like external fixator, so it has been like drilled from 4 different places into my bone,
Oh,
and so like I was not
that's
able to move my elbow at all. But also I was
yeah.
not able to do any like pronation and supination as well.
Oh,
And
okay. So they both things were stuck.
yeah, and so right now I'm still not able to do pronation and supination very well, so it's not fully back
Hmm.
yet. And
But it
so
is
I
progressing.
yeah, it is progressing, but it is a bit complex.
Hmm.
So
Still like slow
when
and
I was
tricky.
yeah, so when I was in Turkey, like I went to physiotherapy 3.5 months, and like we were trying to just literally bring the elbow back, like bring the extension and flexion back, because literally like
Yeah.
I started like that, and right now like I'm able to move it. I think it's pretty good,
Yep.
but
Yep. Mobility's getting you back.
yeah, like it's been
Yeah.
7 months, but I'm still not able to fully extend it. I can't fully strengthen yet, and rotation, like
Yep.
supination and pronation, is still not good. But actually, right now, are like my biggest problem, my wrist. So my elbow is healing, but my wrist is not. So I have a really limited
Ah,
movement on my wrist, and like
is it both ways? Like going
it is
like
both
palm
ways.
coming
Yeah,
forward and palm going back?
like
Oh, okay, yeah.
it is both
Yeah,
ways. Yeah.
wow. Such a difference to the other hand is like probably 20, 30 degrees at the top there, which is like very, very minute.
Yeah. And like that was actually my main problem. And when I went to APC, doctor, like I wasn't sure what was why it is like that, because it's been 7 months, and it apparently what they say it's not normal to have that much
Yeah.
like lack of mobility.
Mm-hmm,
And
mm-hmm.
they thought that it might be broken, and I got an MRI, and an MRI came clear. There was nothing broken, but the thing is, I have a really big bone edema. So what is bone edema is like a lot of fluid inside the bone.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so build up
Yeah,
of fluid in the bone.
yeah. So and it is apparently a little bit tricky to get rid of,
Mm-hmm.
and like I started getting like vitamin D, so it might be one of the reason why it is not
Okay.
recovering. And if nothing works, like I'm going to do some bets, and if nothing works, that apparently there's like a lab, like a doctor in UK who's like specialist with some sort of like bone edema, and I'm gonna
Okay.
go to see her. Yeah,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well,
but
leading up to the injury, you were like in like really great shape. You were hitting things hard. You were doing lots of shoots. You were training in the UK like most of the year. Did you feel like it was a hard pill to swallow, this injury, because you were in such a nice place with your training and nice, like, like everything was going along smoothly and you're progressing really fast? Was that harder of a hit emotionally as well as physically, or did you find that it was kind of pretty rational? You're like, okay, this is part of the game.
I feel like it was for me. It is obvious. It is part of the game. But the time
Hmm.
that when it happened, I feel like I was having too much stress, because
Okay.
like I was like training, but like I had some projects coming on, and I just felt like it's getting a bit too much for me. And yeah,
Hmm.
and the just injury just happened that time,
Yeah.
and I feel like it was okay. It gave me a time to relax and just focus on other bits.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, mentally it wasn't too hard, to be honest. I think like
That's
the
great.
hardest part is just, yeah, me being in Prague. Like it was a bit complex, but it was okay
Yeah,
eventually.
so the actual process was complicated and the like logistics were hard, but yeah, as you said, it's part of the game when you're playing these risky movements and you're doing a lot. And I think a common thread that I'm seeing from talking to other athletes is that it does come hand in hand with like an overload of some sort. If you're traveling a lot, you're doing a lot of projects, and you're trying to burn the candle at both ends and really get as much done as possible, that's when the risk is just enhanced. And I feel like something like Capstone, where day in day out we were trying to push ourselves, it is unfortunately part of that process.
Yeah, totally. Like, and at that time I was also not like I was waiting for my UK visa, but it has been so long and it didn't come through, and I was getting pretty also stressed about it.
Yeah, yeah,
But
it
like it is
affects
what
the
it is.
both things.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think
yeah.
that's another factor is like external stress really can be distracting and puts you kind of, even if it's like 3% out of your headspace that you'd normally be in when you're doing stuff, that's still a big shift for stuff that you need 100% focus. And yeah, even when I said before it's part of the process, I think more so I would say that accidents do happen and mishaps do happen within the sport. That's, you know, part of the package. Was there now like when you're training, is there, you feel like a different approach to like the way you apply yourself, or is it very similar just in a rehabilitation sense?
I think I'm just like right now figuring out what I'm still capable of, because
Hmm.
obviously like I most of the time train outside, and when you train outside, you know, like there's always a consequence. So especially if you're on concrete, and I'm just trying to keep it like really chill, and because like even just one bounce off is scary for me. Like I wouldn't like to bounce off on my
Yes.
like back end stuff. And
Hmm.
yeah, my arm is still not fully like strong as the right one, so it is also like lacking quite a lot of movement. But I've started doing
Yeah.
some bit.
Hmm.
Yeah,
It's hard not
chilling
to,
and
right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
You
It's
still got
so
to
hard.
play in some way. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's when you've got such a strong passion for something and it is kind of your lifestyle as well as like your sport and your exercise and the way you socialize, then I think just getting out there and playing, if you can be well behaved enough and you can just experiment, it can be really good for your like state of mind and just socializing, being out in the sun. Like there's all these benefits that come from that. Like, have you had a lot of time with the local community now? And spending that time with friends back home.
yeah, yeah, totally. I think it's a good part because like I don't really travel often right now, so I have a lot of time hanging out with my friends here, because the last
Hmm.
couple of years has been pretty like we couldn't really see each other and we couldn't really train together because I was always
Yeah.
traveling. But this time, like I have a good like free time that we are chilling, like we're hanging out most of the time, we are training, so it makes me feel good right now, like being at home and like relax and just like not worry about things.
Yeah, yeah. There's a comfort in the familiarity of the scene that you've grown up with, the people that you've known for a long time, and it kind of gives the community aspect more of like that social feel, like you're going to hang out with friends instead of sometimes when you're traveling, it feels like I'm going to train or I'm going to shoot or I'm going to perform, and it just though you're still having a great time, it can change the dynamic.
Yeah, and like especially I think before the injury, when I'm every time when I go out training, I had some like expectations in my mind. But
Hmm.
recently,
Hmm.
what I realized, it wasn't really helping me mentally. And like right now, when I go out training, I don't have any expectation. I just want to explore and play around. So it
Yeah.
feels a little bit more like free, and it feels a little bit more like cheerful, like like playful. So it feels good
Yeah,
now.
absolutely. I mean, you can also take comfort in the fact that you have worked so hard and put yourself in a position now with like sponsorship and career. This is your life, and so there
Mhm.
is a patience that you can instill that I think younger athletes are particularly like hungry to push through and feel like they can't waste that time because this might not be the fight be all and end all. This might not be a career path for them, but you have settled in and there's so many avenues with media and stuff like that that you can do, shooting videos and being a part of just like the go to the Red Bull APC, being a part of the Red Bull community that you have the security of. And I think that's a nice position to be in. Does it feel like it's more stress free having the solid base there?
Yeah, yeah, totally, totally. I think like when we think about like parkour athlete like as a professional, I think it is not easy at all, because like obviously you make money with the movement, like with parkour,
Yeah,
and
the
when you get
shooting and the
injured,
action.
like yeah, like when you get injured, then how you are going to make money, that's the thing. But like
Hmm.
I get a really good support from Red Bull, and I think I feel really grateful about that. And also like during that time, I realized like I want to focus on different things, and which makes me a little bit more excited, like making more videos. I also started like record my first podcast, and I haven't
Yeah, cool.
released it yet, but hopefully this week. Yeah, and
Nice. So
yeah,
what platforms will that be on? YouTube and Spotify and stuff like that?
yeah. I think I would like to bring it on YouTube as well, with the video, and but it's
Mhm.
gonna be most like Spotify and Apple Play.
Yeah,
Yeah,
cool. So people can find it where you listen to all your podcasts. They'll be available across
Yeah.
platforms. That's
Yeah.
awesome. And so, do you have like a subject matter in line, or is there anything you're trying to provide, like, intellectually with the podcast? What's your goals there?
I think I would just like to just like share my experience, or like
Mm-hmm.
share the adventures with people through like parkour. I think like
Yeah, cool.
just
Some old stories and different moments.
yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure
Yeah,
actually.
that's
Like
really cool.
I think the same way like what you do. Probably like host some people as well. Just talk. I don't know. Shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like
I think it's been a really big learning curve for me doing these shows, and I think I started doing them in like 2016 or 2017. I started
oh
doing
wow.
some podcasts, so um, they've been very choppy, changey, and all over the place. But I think just starting anything like that and getting yourself doing it, producing it, practicing, putting it out will make you better at the craft and make you enjoy something new, regardless of like how experienced you are at it. It's about the practice itself, and you get to have fun conversations with your friends. And as I've gone on in the seasons, I feel like I've now found more of a rhythm with
Yeah.
like what conversations I want to have, and giving kind of like a seasonal arc or like a topic for stuff. But yeah, I really hope you enjoy putting them out because they are a bunch of fun to do.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like I really like listening podcasts. So and like I started YouTube maybe like 2 years ago, and during that process,
Hmm.
that I realized actually like apart from making videos, but YouTube gave me a lot of confidence, also talking English as well. So I was like, oh,
Yeah,
okay, that's a good skill to have. How I was thinking like, how I'm able to improve it to the next step, and then
hmm
I was like, oh, maybe making podcasts would be a good idea. Just talk more
that's
and
yeah,
like
that's
yeah.
sick. That's sick. It's just Oh, sorry, spitting everywhere. Practice practice through doing it and like practically putting it out there, because that's going to evolve your vocabulary. Wow, it's going to evolve your vocabulary and your variety of things to say. I love that I screwed it up on vocabulary. Um, so how does your day to day or your week to week look with training now? Is it very much like just playing and a lot of rehab, or is it some days on, some days off, or what's like the kind of schedule?
I think most of the days I try to do some rehab because rehab's actually not like really hard like exercises. So I can do it like
Mm-hmm.
every day, just a little bit. But I think right now my training are more like focused on strength training, like going to gym, and like I started lifting as well. So actually trying to bring the power and the strength back and
Mm.
how it used to be. And whenever my friend is free or whenever the weather is good, I just go out do parkour, and
Yeah.
just mostly like parkour and strength training, and also like doing some sprints as well, like runnings. So yeah, just
Yeah. Do you have like kind of a format for that, or is it more like you have your things that you want to do and then improvise with timing, like figure it out on the go?
yeah. Actually, one of my best friends started working with a sprint coach, and I was like, can I join as well? Like I want to try to
Okay.
sneak and train with them,
Yeah,
and like
yeah.
training is going pretty good. Like I can say we just started like maybe like 2 weeks ago. And
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, it is really interesting to find out about like running. It is because I feel like my running technique is not great, but
Uh-huh.
learning a
Uh-huh.
lot, and like we are having the like a time, and we are trying to improve it on each session.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
cool.
yeah, but
Which is
it's going well.
gratifying. It
But it's
feels like parkour. It's like
yeah,
doing a
yeah,
further
yeah.
jump every time. It's chopping your time down. It's a cool way to feel that progression.
Yeah, yeah. And yeah, apart from it, trying to get like my mobility back, because also like from the injury, my shoulders mobility got pretty bad because I didn't really use that much. So it is
Mm-hmm.
also pretty annoying when I am trying to do some swings. It's like so hard. Yeah,
It just feels remotely like it just feels alien. Like the it doesn't quite
yeah,
have that range or something.
yeah,
Yeah.
totally. Yeah,
Is it kind of uneven if you do movements with two hands? Do you feel like you're compensating to one side, or it doesn't like extend the same so the balance is off? Do you feel like there's a switch up there?
Like when I'm hanging, I feel like it is pretty good right now. But actually, like 2 days ago, I tried to do like a hang on my fingers. So I still like my right. I'm shifting to the right a little bit.
Okay. So
Yeah,
more of
but
the activation of the muscles is a little bit stronger on the right hand side still.
yeah, still. And
Mhm.
but like hanging is fine. But obviously the other movements, like when I try to do like go on a wall, for example, like to do some wall up and stuff, it is still pretty hard. Like my right
Okay.
part is working way more than the left. Also because like I
Yeah.
can't really use my
Yeah.
wrist, so the wrist is still a problem. But yeah.
Mm. So then going into this year, do you think that throughout the summer and the end of the year, you'll be traveling more and getting back into, attending jams and that sort of thing, or are you going to take it more chill?
I think definitely attending gyms, like not gyms, sorry, events. Yeah,
Yeah.
like because I feel like that would be a good way to get back into like parkour more, like seeing friends and like training together and like traveling.
Yeah.
This is what I always enjoy doing.
Hmm.
And
Sharing
definitely this
ideas.
summer, yeah, this summer I think I have a lot of like travel plans. And right now I'm trying to move to UK, and
Hmm.
hopefully like I'm on the visa process, so if I'm able to get my visa, I'm permanently moving to UK this summer, so I'm
That would be really
happy
cool.
about it.
Fingers
Yeah,
crossed. Yeah, we might know
yeah,
by the time this podcast comes out in July, we may have a verdict on that. So stay tuned, folks. Go and you can see if Hazal's become a UK citizen yet. Yes.
yeah. Becoming a UK citizen is gonna be a really long time. It's going to take a really long time.
Yeah, it's crazy,
Yeah.
crazy process, right? So through the whole like injury process, do you feel like there's been any major shifts mentally or emotionally that we haven't touched on? There's anything that really stands out to you, or like even like a lesson you've learned during the process?
Actually, yes. So when I get my second surgery, um, I had like the brace on after the cast, and I was using my brace, and I was in Istanbul, and it was raining quite heavy, and I needed to get to my Airbnb, and when I was on the stairs going down, I slipped, and then I landed on my back,
Oh,
and I hit my my elbow again,
just
and
kind of
literally the
bent down,
same,
like smack the elbow straight into the stairs.
literally,
Oh,
yeah.
it's already a
And
painful
it's
experience before the injury.
yeah, and I feel like that fail gave me like a little bit more like trauma than the actual fail, because like
Mm.
I had to rush to the hospital to get another X-ray, but everything came clear, luckily nothing was broken. But I think that like thinking about what if I broke something was a hard time. And after that fail, actually like a couple months for me was really hard. Like I was walking really slow and not going outside when
Oh,
it's raining at all. And
just
it
playing
has
it
been a
super
pretty,
safe.
yeah, it has been pretty hard time for me. Like I was really like mentally finding so hard to go outside even.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
yeah, absolutely.
that was a hard time.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, when I was at especially the extensive time with my ankles, it was like painful to leave, like to go training or to walk around was painful, and it was really like disheartening. And I found I would like give into that and then be mad at myself or sad at myself for letting myself like be a wuss or not do the right thing or not go out and be brave. But it's just a balancing act, I think, where you've got to feel safe and feel like you're doing the right thing, but then also you do need to push that little bit to feel like you're human and you're progressing and things are getting better. Yeah, it's
Totally,
a fine line to ride, I think.
totally. I think you need to get out of your comfort zone just a little bit each day to be
Hmm.
able to like trust your body and trust your arm again. But like for me, it takes forever. Like it was like a long
Yeah.
process for me, but it's going well right now. Well, it's been 7 months,
Do
I
you
guess.
have an estimated time of recovery where you think like, okay, in 5 months I should be back to using my arm and doing like, the base movements of parkour without any problem? Or is there like a timeline you have in mind?
So I think for my elbow, I would like to say like maybe in three months that like I
Mm-hmm.
would like to
Mm-hmm.
be fully back, but for my elbow
That's
only.
the
So
goal.
which means like yeah, which means like bring the extension back and also the strength. Yeah, but the thing is with
Yeah.
my wrist, also doctor doesn't know when it's gonna heal. That's like a big.
Mm-hmm.
I can't really see
Is
in
it is
front
it
what is in
painful?
front of me.
Is it is
It
it
is
painful when
painful.
you flex it back and forward? Yeah, it's
Yeah.
interesting because I mean, and I'm not spouting any medical knowledge in this, but when
Yeah.
I had my injury from the China fail, so I still have
Yeah.
restricted movement this way on my left wrist.
Oh wow.
But what I had to do was actually to get back the handstands and everything with pain free was I had to like push the range of motion through a little bit of like we said with like pushing yourself every day through a tiny bit of uncomfort pain barrier
Hmm.
every single day until I could like load it further and further. But the period before that, I completely didn't use my wrist for like 3 months. I was like, oh, I'm just waiting for it to stop hurting, and that's what actually reduced the amount of movement in it. So
Oh
I
yeah,
don't
yeah.
know if like with
Makes sense.
wrists, I don't know with yours especially, but it's one of those things where, again, pushing that little bit and making sure, and it will just it's like chipping away at a mountain. It takes such a long time. I'd say even 2 3 years
True, true.
later, it they just got better.
True. Actually, like what I was doing the last 7 months, like I was trying to push it like each day, and there was like a little
Hmm.
progress I was able to see. So I started doing like a really small conks and stuff. But
Uh,
when I went to APC last week, so my MRI result came
hmm.
up like there's like a really big bone edema. Right now, my physiotherapist and the doctors told me to like not push through more because it
Yeah,
is
yeah.
going
If
to
it's got
like
fluid,
yeah. So I'm a bit like
yeah.
confused what to do because like in my mind I want to push through just a little bit, but then
Mm.
when they told me to not to, I was like, oh, I don't know what to do now. Like
Yeah, that's why
yeah.
definitely wouldn't claim to have any like actual knowledge, but I think it is really dependent on the injury, and in this instance, like with the diagnosis and the fact that it is like a fluid buildup, so any more like pressure and pushing could just add to that. It makes a lot of sense that they would tell you to like pump the brakes until they can get into that. Do you have a timeline on
Yeah.
that surgery? Do you have like is that still just finding out things about it?
Yeah, from my wrist, you mean? When it's gonna
Yeah,
heal?
yeah, for the wrist.
Yeah. No, because like I tell you that like I started getting vitamin D, so it might be the one reason that why I'm not recovering. So I'm going to take it
Mm-hmm.
three weeks, and during after that three
Mm-hmm.
weeks, if there's still not any progress, and which I don't think it will be, and we are going to see other options what we can do. So I have no
Okay,
idea yet. Yeah, but also
cool.
there's also another thing. Sometimes when the athlete
Mm.
get trauma, apparently the affected area, like there's like a bone mineral density, and that more bone mineral density reduce on the affected area. So also
Okay,
doctor thinks that this is what is happening on my wrist, and if it is the
interesting.
case, yeah, there's like a machine called DEXA, so you can just get in and you can see the bone mineral density. So if it's the case, I am going to start medicine. Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. I didn't know that that
Yeah.
was possible, but it makes a lot of sense as the area kind of goes frail in a way. It kind of, instead of healing, it reduces, it kind of panics and frails up a little bit.
Yeah, so
Crazy.
totally. It is so interesting, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm learning a lot more across these podcasts about like the construction of joints and different parts of the body
Right.
than I have before. So this is great. It's a great little learning experience, and I
Yeah,
hope
me
that all the
too.
listeners are getting something back out of that as well.
Hopefully,
Is there
hopefully.
anything else you'd want to say to listeners before we wrap up for the day? Want to convey any more
Um,
messages?
I think like what can I say that like I think injury is a part of the game, and I
Hmm.
think like if we try to look the injury a slightly different perspective, like for example, like for me, like before this injury happened, I didn't really have time to properly like work on myself, like working on mentally and also like physically. And I feel like now I know more how my trainings should be like as like nutrition side, as like strength
Yeah,
side.
the
I feel like
supplementary stuff.
I had more time to like work on those. I feel like now
Hmm.
like this injury because I had a lot of free time, so it wasn't too bad eventually. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. I think a way to kind of pass it on would be to also like, yeah, slow down and be patient with your training. Stop and smell the roses. Do all of the good stuff that back ends your training. Because I'm guilty of the same as you. Just 9 hours of parkour a day for like 8 years, and then it just is degrading the the body in ways where you could be strengthening it.
Yeah, and I think there's always a lesson that you can get through the bail. So I think
Hmm.
it's a good point to see what you learned from the fail. Yeah.
That's it. Some bail information, guys. So take that bail information home with you, and share this podcast with your friends if you've enjoyed it. Thank you, Hazal, for coming on today, and I'll
Thanks
see
so
you very
much.
soon.
Thank you so much for having me.
Whee!
See you. Bye.